Welcome to the most professional StarCraft Evo, the complete overhaul mod that brings StarCraft 2 and StarCraft Brood War together. And who better to show it off than the former world champion Terran in the purple? We have Micro Jackson. It's ByuN, facing off against one of the top Zergs in Korea with the StarCraft 1 drones. It's Ragnarok, in a best of 5 Zerg versus Terran showdown. And before we get started, it'd be incredible. You could smash that like button, or maybe even subscribe. And we got the algorithm. And Jimmy, what do we have? 1,843 likes on this video and this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. As the first Reaper comes in, and the Zerglings will just have to get in front of it, or at least between the Reaper and the drones, as there's no queens early on. And Zergling speed is still over a minute out. So the biomass of Zerglings is all he has to defend those early drones. As in StarCraft Evo, while the economies are balanced out, the stats are shifted a bit, the essence of the Brood War and the restrictions and benefits are both very apparent. So, even the unit models and animations, and I'm excited to see. It's been a little while since I've seen the updates, but I know a lot more unit models have been updated to reflect their Brood War counterparts. And, I mean, you can already see that much of the base has that gross umami feeling that the Brood War Zerg, a more visceral sort of Zerg, as opposed to the infestation style that I think StarCraft 2 Zerg kind of embraced or assimilated. Depends on who you ask and whether they're infested. But the lair is already completed. A spire begins, and it looks like it's going to be Mutas, a classic strategy to start things off, whereas ByuN, I would not be the least bit surprised if ByuN does effectively this strategy, no matter whether he's playing the Brood War Terran. By the way, they'll be switching off. I'm not sure if it's loser pick or if it's predetermined, but both players throughout the series will be playing StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2 versions of their races. Though, it might be hard to tell with ByuN, because he's built 3 racks, and he's getting a bunch of Marines with stimming combat shield. And, to be fair, for much earlier than the start of the Brood War, Terrans have relied on drugs and guns and a lot of anger at illegal aliens for, well, it's lore accurate Terran, to say the least. So, ByuN just working his way across the map. The Reaper out in front, and a wall of sunken colonies is coming together. Those tentacles do a lot of damage, both emotionally and physically. And, well, 2 of them I don't think is enough. 6, on the other hand, is more. And more math tips if you like and subscribe to make that number go up, just like the sunken colonies. But yeah, that's a no. That's a no. You can't dodge them, to my understanding. And, yeah, no. He's not going through there. Unlike their StarCraft 2 counterparts, they can't maneuver around and reposition. But I think they're in the right spot here on Holy World. A 4-player map, by the way, but we are in relatively close positions. I mean, closer than Cross, which makes up 2 out of 3. And the Mutas! The Mutas much more stackable. They have more range, but do not have that quick regen that they're starting. So generally, at least from my perspective, I don't have the nostalgia. Sorry, Grandpa, but I didn't play Brood War until after getting into StarCraft 2. So, but I learned to appreciate it, to say the very least. And so far, the Mutas, the micro, on point. The Muta stack, and with that little bit of extra range, the Marines are just getting shredded. ByuN, assuming these are the fragile paperlisks of StarCraft 2, but instead getting sliced up from range, and without medevacs or widow mines or something more than just a few Marines, he's getting cut apart. The glaives are slicing through the refinery, the SCVs nearby getting eviscerated. And 8 SCVs. He lost 1 Muta. He's killed 13 Marines. 8 SCVs. He gets the refinery, the factory. If he could ram into them, maybe, but... And microing using the high ground there. Though, still has vision from... Is that high ground? No. It's a matter of perspective, but the perspective is irrelevant here. The Marines just getting slaughtered one by one. And even... He's feeling so confident he sends out a few Predator drones. I feel like this is a very... Well... Ragnarok... well, now realizing that his rally point is... less than ideal for maintaining his economy, and despite all this, ByuN plummets to a 3-worker lead. The engineering bay getting repaired. A few more SCVs gonna go down. If he loses the upgrades, that's one of the big advantages that you're relying on as Terran in order to take a fight later on, when you finally have enough units, ideally, to move out. But the Muta's just continually slicing through. The Queen's Nest is done. The Hive is completed. A greater... Guardians? Devours? He's making his Spire great again, and... I don't think I've ever seen Guardians used in one of these SC Evo matches, the pro matches. But ByuN is bottled up in his base, and I can't see a use for Devours, the anti-air, direct anti-air unit. He's already doing perfectly fine with the Mutas themselves. So, and wow, the Muta Micro. 44 Marines to 4. Oh, when can I get those Mutas? How much do I have to pay? How many battle passes? How many gems? How many, crypto dollars do I have to invest to get those Mutas on the ladder? Oh my. And the engineering bay, those glaive swipes just... Each volley doing terrible... Does he get the armor? No! ByuN saves at the last second, but the... And that armor is going to be very important. Each of those glaives bouncing through is doing such incredible damage. Ragnarok has 24 Mutas, 20 Lings. And he's only at 62. 4 Guardians! 6 Guardians! And I honestly have no idea. I've never seen this unit used in this mod, and I don't think I've really seen any Brood War Pro games with it either. To my understanding, its uses are very niche. When things like Mutas themselves and Lurkers exist. But, well, all ByuN has 36 Marines. He has 4 Widow Mines. There's no detection. Oh, they don't one-shot Marines! And they don't do splash, I don't think. Yeah. But the Mutas are helping out. The Zerg Air Force. But, yeah. Some Vikings on the way. Overlords should be good enough of detectors, I believe. I think he has Overlord speed in production. And finally, the engineering bay. 5th times. The drones keep getting rallied across. Ragnarok struggling. The Guardians! Oh no! They're too slow! Oh, this might be why the lobsters usually are hunted for their tails as opposed to finding a lot of success fight. Yeah. Well. Ooh, a single Widowmon hit doing a whole lot of damage. Doesn't even have drilling claws to remain cloaked. It's just... Wow, the Muta's slicing through. Just like in StarCraft 2 with the transition to Broodlords, if you pick the wrong timing, not only have you slowed down your momentum, but you've spent a whole lot of money doing it. So I feel like Ragnarok may have either underestimated ByuN's capability to deal with it or overestimated how good Guardians could be in the first place. As ByuN, with his Marines, his Mines, his Medevacs, his Vikings, the M&M. And on the opposite side of this mineral wall, there are 3 hatcheries here. He can come around the back. The Muta count, there's a couple Widow Mines tucked in, which are an existential threat. Those Mutas, they don't heal. I don't think there's any way to help the Zerg heal. The Widow Mines are gonna hit hard. Both sides. And the field runs red with the blood of Terrans and Zerg alike. And Ragnarok with another, like, he's got an Ultraless Cavern. on the way. Does he have adrenal glands for his Zerg? Of course not. It doesn't matter what. 2 Ultralisk Caverns. Are there... The chitinous plating. Is that adrenal... Wow, he's getting it. The massive attack speed upgrade. The cracklings that are unparalleled. I think they may have... I had a delayed reaction to that. It just took a second to really register as the blood trickled down into the pool there, but... Oof. Bringing an Overlord alongside, not for the micro potential, but instead for the detection against the mines. A double drop to the north. Single drone sent out. And if... Oh, no, that's not good. That's a... And the Mutas. Ragnarok with 500 APM. ByuN, similar. And 1 hatchery will go down alongside 7 drones. And this completely undercuts the momentum. All the Mutas. Maybe the downside of being able to select more than 12 units at a time is that Ragnarok focused all of his units on the other side of the map, and he just had nothing to deal with the drop back at home. He's going to knock down the medevacs. He's going to clean up the Marines. But we have to ask ourselves that question. Have you liked and subscribed? And at what cost? Chitinous plating is on the way for the Ultras, but the Ultras do not have cleave damage. They just get very intimate with a single unit. So it's kind of like watching your mother with the Ultras involved. But they have a lot of HP and a lot of armor, which means the Marines are going to struggle to deal with them. Marauders and Widow Mines, probably not so much. The same counters apply here. More Guardians on the way. Is a Defiler mound. I knew that. It was a... and some Guardians in the bottom left corner. May be able to use that airspace. I don't think Marines are not going to easily be able to hit them. Just like I'm not going to be easily able to navigate that sentence. But we got there. Just like the Guardians eventually pop out. He stims all the Marines. So holds off the Marauders, thankfully. The drops are tearing him apart, though. And the Guardians are untouchable. The Marines at the very edge. There's a few Widow Mines that he may not have noticed. The Ultras at the back just scrambling around, but the Marines dropping on either side. And there's nothing. They just stare at them angrily. Okay, some Zerglings might help out. The Guardian's still going to work. Still a couple Widow Mines, though. That might be enough to... And splitting the damage between them. Still doesn't have drilling claws. I lied. Then how does he kill the mines? Oh, it finished mid-fight. Meanwhile, knocks down another medevac. Ragnarok starting to dip in supply and lost a lot of overlords as well. ByuN has maintained enough of his economy to, well, nearly max out on Marines and Marauders. He has mules as well, though not too many dropped at the moment. No, the Widow Mine again! Knocks out another Guardian, and eventually the Widow Mines might just be able to clean it up. The Cracklings fighting a Planetary, and pretty easily winning. 4 Defilers are on the way. Consume being researched on the Defiler mound. The Mutas still flapping their way through. A set of rocks will be opened up down the center. And 28 Mutas, 29. 168 Marines dead. The Mutas have been worth their weight in gold and minerals, which I assume way more because they're denser. And that didn't need to be explained, but here we are. Sometimes I feel denser. Oh my. Speaking of dense, this defense... certainly, it makes plenty of sense. But things are getting more intense. We'll see. Right. Oh, the consumes! And Dark Swarm should be built in if he has the energy. No, loses a couple Defilers. Popped like the weird little beetles they are. Which, they're not, they don't look like, they're not the juicy kind of beetle. Anyways. Mass Ultralisk with Defilers. The Dark Swarm to remove ranged attack damage. I believe he's getting the starting energy and max energy upgrade as well. The metasynaptic node. Everyone knows that. Oh no, Widow Mines. Splits off a few Zerglings, though, in order to minimize. Tries to eat another hit. The Ultra's scampering about, but again, this same spot on the other side of the mineral wall. And that single Widow Mine gets a chunk. Some Dark Swarms, retreats back in. Tries to hug the Swarm. But unfortunately, during all this, ByuN is just tearing through the hatcheries. He kills this one again. The Mutas eventually clean up the drop to the north, but already took out a hatch. He's just going around the corner, targeting down the Ultras, which are not nearly as intimidating as their StarCraft 2 counterparts. A Dark Swarm will make everything a lot scarier, though, especially the Zerglings. With incredible DPS, the Mutas will clean it up. And with just a couple Dark Swarms at the right place, and pretty much any time, it's enough to hold the line. He needs to slurp up some more Zerglings, though. Does it midfield. Gotta be careful not to do too many. And the key... the bullets! They do nothing! Literally invulnerable to ranged attack. There are also some neutral disruption webs, which has a similar effect, but I think it just disables the attack outright. People shaking their head at my lack of knowledge, alright? Believe it or not, there are dozens of people who didn't play Brood War that are still watching this. Dozens! But ByuN still has so much momentum. Oh, gets another Defiler. That's not how Disruption Web works. Ragnarok trying to protect himself. Oh, yeah, Plague Uga! The Plague! Another Dark Swarm! The Plague will bring them to 1 HP, but the Medivacs will bring them up from there. Assuming they're able to use it. But the drops are still working on that northern base. He has yet to find a solution. There's no lurkers, and the Mutas keep getting pulled away. And the count has been whittled down. Just 6 of them remain. He's lost 31 drones, 41 Mutas now. He was being so efficient. The Defilers are absolutely the game changers. Oh no, that Widow Mine. But Overlords are detectors, which is quite convenient. Thing is, they're not fast enough, it seems. And the Widow Mines, a Dark Swarm, it burrowed all the Zerglings, which the Ultras are just covering for the Lings, who are the real damage dealers here. There's still enough for one more Swarm. He can pick up and get to the other side. It's a little bit off-center, which Ragnarok is definitely thinking these... I think he knows intellectually these are not StarCraft 2 Ultras. But he sees 5 Ultras on a mineral line and says, that should kill all the SCVs. And they kind of did. No, another Defiler dies to a Widow Mine. And oh no, the Widow Mine's just nickel and diming him across the map. And ByuN is down to 100 supply. But he has double the army supply. 15 SCVs, barely more than he started with. But Ragnarok is the breadcrumbs of explosive mines. I guess mines would be a pretty good descriptor. More like recharging self-sufficient anti-air/ground missile platforms, but that wasn't great for the marketing pitch. The army is 3 Ultras, 3 Mutas, a Defiler, and a couple dozen Lings. ByuN is down to 11 SCVs, but he still has 80 army supply of exactly the units you expect. 13 Marauders, 12 Marines, 6 Medivacs, and a dozen Widow Mines. And despite Overlords being detection, the Widow Mines are forcing such a toll. Wow. Ragnarok just taps out. The Defiler is not enough to fight against the mines. And ByuN survives. Despite being down 20 supply, the army is just too big. Quite a game. Those Mutas getting so much... I think it was a mistake to go for the Guardians. Which, there might be a reason I haven't seen them in many of these games or even Brood War games. It feels like he completely undercut his own momentum to try to get this gate. They don't even one-shot Marines. It's disappointing. But don't worry. We're going to Death Valley. ByuN with the StarCraft 1 SCVs. Ragnarok with his StarCraft 2 drones. And here on Destructible Assimilator, we have a tooltip. Pairs of neutral assimilators around the map. Sorry, let me put on my customer service representative Carrick's voice. Pairs of neutral assimilators around the map can be destroyed, affecting the width of the choke point between them. When both are alive, all ground units can pass through. When one is destroyed, only small ground units can pass through, workers, and a limited number of combat units. When both are destroyed, the choke is closed off, turning the area behind it into an island. And then there's worker mineral paths, which we are familiar with in StarCraft 2 as well. Speaking of minerals, instead of having a mix of large and small mineral patches, here in StarCraft Evo, have 9 mineral patches in the main base. Not sure if that's true on all maps, and they're worth 1,500. So, that means the total is 13,500 minerals, compared to StarCraft 2, with their mixed patches being around 11,000. So, not only does it take longer to mine out, but because the patches have more overall, means that you can efficiently mine with more workers. So, the StarCraft Evo workers, I believe, mine slightly quicker. They have quicker acceleration. So, more efficiently in general, to make up for the StarCraft 2 macro mechanics, like larva inject, mules, chrono boost. You can have your debates about whether it's enough, or how balanced that is, but at the end of the day, it ends up, that was remarkably close. And if Ragnarok had managed to deal with the drop to the north one time, I feel like just one time he needed to crush it before it got damaged. Or just not go Guardians, apparently, is the takeaway. There were so many opportunities. ByuN is, I'm sure, very hyped about a drone scout. And he's going, wow, ByuN. 3 barracks! Wonder what he's going to build out of those. SCVs have 60 HP, you fiend. Yeah, it's pretty OP. These StarCraft 1 SCVs with a little more junk in the trunk. Gear in the rear, if you would. I wouldn't, but, you know, to each their own. Another mineral path was mined out. Only 1 queen on the way, which I think is a nod to the fact that with no Reaper, or threat of Reaper, then you can just get away with this as a StarCraft 2 Zerg. The reason in normal StarCraft 2 Terran versus Zerg you have to get those queens and Zerglings at these timings is because the Reaper will kill 2, 3 plus drones and negate any sort of other economic advantage you might try to get if you don't build it or you skip it or delay it. So, ByuN, does he have the academy on the way? Indeed he does. Going to be taking those Marines to school, or at least making the school so he can hand the Marines better rifles. They can shoot further, shoot faster after they take their drugs and get their upgrades. And also some medics to patch them up when they inevitably run towards their death. The academy unlocking that. So, believe it or not, ByuN is going to do a big Marine push. An absolute shock. And unfortunately for him, he's on the side of the map where a bit of the mining is blocked by the comsat. Now, Terran civil engineering, while their army composition and general strategy did not progress much since the Brood War, the civil engineering of let's slap the comsat on top of the command center and let's let the depots burrow underground or lower underground instead of getting in the way of things. Or let's salvage the bunkers so we don't waste But unfortunately, the cost apparently was the engineering bay being so heavy it couldn't lift. Are those fire bats? Indeed. Want to hear about propane and propane accessories? We got +1 infantry weapons on the way. Stim and marine range queued up behind it. Which brings them, I believe, equal with the Marines in SC2. Not further, though. You know, I've been wrong before. Just don't like to point it out. Banelings already on the way. Ragnarok with 36 drones. Now adding a few more as the creep spreads out. The queens, their terrestrial versions. The lair is scouted by a scan. The fact he's building drones and doesn't have the gases here. Is he expecting Bane mines? No. Though that would be a game-winning move. Against Marines with only 45 HP? There's no combat shield. They're much more focused on the damage. The watchtower spots for all this. And mass firebat. Now adding a factory and 2 more racks, but it's a lot of firebats. We'll see. The Queen's out in front. Knockout 1. The Lings and Banes will be spotted. Hits the stims. Only 2 medics to try to patch this up. There's a lot of... Ooh, well, the Banelings... Oof. That's going to be a solid... The Firebat's doing a great job, but the Baneling's doing even better. Whoa, okay, wait. Mutually assured destruction. The Firebats and a Marine managed to survive with like half a unit HP between them. But behind it, Ragnarok secured his front. He barely lost any. I don't think he lost any queens. He completely shut down the push that ByuN's been working towards this entire time. So, siege mode on the way behind. It's going to be a bunch of Marines and tanks. And remember, through all the fire and fury, that, like I mentioned earlier, the bases don't mine out nearly as quick. You start mining out of the main base, especially with mules, between 7 and 8 minutes or so. Those first smaller patches in StarCraft 2. But ByuN still has a comparable economy, though, as Ragnarok starts to mine from his outlying bases, gets more and more efficient, and he just has more drones, so. Science facility completed, science vessel on the way. Irradiate is certainly one way out of your problems. And there is no easy counter for StarCraft 2 Zerg besides throwing units at it and hoping not too many of them get their faces melted away. ByuN. Does he have a 3rd command center? No, he hasn't even started it yet. Trying to maintain that army supply. Scanning forward, as the comsats don't have any other purpose. What is your purpose? You scan. That's what you do. Don't drop mules, don't add supply depots. The comsat takes a look around, and if you're not using the energy, you're essentially losing the opportunity. Marines and firebats and medics. Hive is already on the way for Ragnarok. Hydra's added in. Is Baneling speed done? Of course it is. We've got +2 infantry weapons and armor for ByuN. He's bringing the siege tanks together. Science vessel's added on, but he hasn't invested in Radiate, the upgrade. Still has access to defensive matrix. No, that's quite heavy on the energy. They give detection as well, but I guess it's helpful against the creep. Will he notice the lack of a Radiate, or was it intentional? He has the gas, so it just kind of seems like an oversight. Meanwhile, small Zergling counter, but there's almost nothing back at home. He might be able to delay the 3rd base outright. And indeed, 3rd base will be delayed. The Marines are coming back to defend. Several SCVs dead. Couple Vipers on the way. The wannabe Defilers. And is that? Oh, a Radiate, okay. I believe that's the Science Vessel energy upgrade. Ultraless Cavern. The big daddy list of StarCraft 2 are the trajectory. No adrenal glands, of course. He did eventually get them last game. But, oh, and there we are. My apologies. ByuN, after that initial push, he's put himself out there. He has the high ground. And there is mischance to the high ground, I believe. Like in Brood War, the high ground advantage is not just vision, but there's a chance to miss. Yeah, a bit of RNG, but giving high ground a significantly larger advantage, especially with things like siege tanks and engaging up into them. But, well, the tanks from the low ground taking their shots. I think we actually saw a miss, and it was just the splash. If they miss, but does the splash still hit? Unclear. Irradiate is done. Science vessels, Lings and Banes are breaking through the natural, and ByuN not reacting at all. Irradiates the Vipers, but the blinding clouds will come through in time across the entire board. Does he have it irradiate for anything else? The Marines. Wow, the Marines easily taking out the Lings and Banes, but unfortunately, he may have no home to go back to, as the natural has been gutted. 21 SCVs dead again. Somehow we flip. It's the same scenario. The Eraser irradiates both science vessels, and the Queens just get off my creep. I don't know. It's rude, Brenda. He's rude. And sorry, the very optimistic double irradiate. I think ByuN may have undercut his best chance to break through by effectively throwing away those science vessels. He's down to 38 SCVs. He doesn't have mules, and there are ultras on the field. And, well, Chitinous plating is done. The Marines are struggling to get anything, even one swipe. Oof. That's a lot of damage. And irradiating the ultras doesn't necessarily help. Well, it helps a bit. The other ultra will melt away, but if it gets close, the Marines are still within the danger zone. The science vessel survives, even though a strong gust of wind would knock it out of the sky. Ragnarok loses a huge chunk of his army, but he gains a massive economic advantage. 2,100 more resources per minute. And he's already got a comparable army supply. The science vessel. Oh no, the Queens. He's still a long way off having the energy, but another Ultralisk. And without Radiate, without many siege tanks, I'm not actually sure how you deal with the Ultra. Especially if there are any amount of transfuses. The Marines are trying to hold their ground, but a single transfuse, it appears the answer is you don't. The Ultra just chewing through. The Queen's getting in on the action. And I think that's it. Ragnarok maintains the economy. He maintains the army. He cleaves through everything. ByuN throws out the GG scans. ByuN throws out the G... He's not going to leave. He's going to build another command center. All right. Sure. Ragnarok, well known for throwing. But this is... It would take a tremendous effort to throw this game away from here. The Zerglings slip into the third. There it is. A couple sets of Gs, and Ragnarok ties things up, as the StarCraft 2 races so far finding a lot of success. Even though ByuN somehow doing the same... Honestly, both players doing a very similar strategy. At least the end game. 2 games in a row. It's almost like these games are based off one another. Well, one way or another. But we're going to Golden Wall. Which, one of the most divisive maps in a literal sense in StarCraft 2 history. In that the map itself slices the players and the entire map in half. There's a golden wall of minerals and a bunch of mineral walls themselves that keep the players from being able to interact essentially with the north and south side without unlocking them. So, we're all tied up, and now it's Ragnarok's turn back to the StarCraft 1 drones up against ByuN StarCraft 2 SEVs. ByuN, will he stray from the path? Will he decide that just making a bunch of Marines and eventually other units if he has to is not the ideal strat? I have my doubts. A pool first out of Ragnarok. Interesting. And also investing in gas, so clearly intending on at least getting Zergling speed, if not more. Meanwhile, ByuN, command center first. It looks like he's going to mine out the mineral wall and just take the low ground, which allows him to wall off the single ramp with just a barracks and a couple supply depots. So we'll see if Ragnarok is taken off guard or if he's already prepared. He's not mining through his mineral wall. These are 28 minerals, which I believe the drones actually mine. They mine 7 at a time? No. But a very specific number. Slightly more than it takes a mule to mine, I guess. Oh, yeah. And they're gold minerals, which means you get 7 per trip instead of 5. So that's 4 trips there. Mules do not mine extra. So Zergling speed is already on the way. ByuN. Wow. An absolute shock. I'm shaking right now. It's probably just anticipation, but in a crazy turn of events, ByuN has built not 1 but 2 barracks. And not 1 but 2 command centers. He does have 2 gas, which means he might deviate slightly into quicker medevacs instead of just mass marine. But we'll see. Yeah. It's going to be a 2-2-1-1 instead of just the mass barracks play. As the factory on the way. See if Ragnarok has his say. But so far today, it's been more ByuN dictating who gets to play. Only 1 trip to get through the Golden Wall. Or, I mean, 2, but 1 trip apiece. Ragnarok has spotted this. He knows that he's taken the low ground base. And if this is mined through, the Zerglings can just get in. Like, it's... And ByuN continues to mine. This is... If he just had a single space, that would work out great for him. But he's opening it up. There's no way he's going to have this walled off in time. Oh, and the Overlord. It's a bait! And to an extent, he definitely didn't want to lose it, but now that he did, there's really no reason for the Zerglings to sit back. And he's hard supply block, so we might as well go. Does he have enough lings to actually do real damage here? He waits for a couple more. Being hesitant, because he doesn't know exactly what he's dealing with. And there's enough Marines to drive back the lings for now. The Brood War Zerglings, I think, more competent. Well, significantly stronger just in general against everything. As Banelings don't exist, so... But not strong enough to deal with an equal number of Marines. At least not with StarCraft 2 micro, not like Brood War, when most units would trip over themselves rather than go in the correct direction. That's what made it skillful, alright? Managing your units like they're a bunch of drunk toddlers, which is so wrong on so many levels. But, they're easier to manage that way. 8 Mudas in production. He's gone for the quick spire again. If there was anything to shut this down. The double medevac, of course, gives ByuN the opportunity to drop into the main, but that could be his downfall. The Mutas. Will he scan? He sees the Overlord. If he picks up, he's poking in. He suspects the Mutas. Like, oh... Ragnarok hid them so well, and he falls for it. Will he be able to get the medevacs in time? Just getting here before the Marines drop out? Wow. He knew that ByuN was looking directly for it. ByuN dove all the way in, but the Zerglings are coming around the corner. They're not safe out here. He's trying to box out the mutas for what it's worth. He'll buy himself a little more time. A couple more mutas popping out. He's going to drop out the Marines, but the mutas can fight. There's not that many Marines left over. He's just backing off. Knocks down one. The Zerglings. ByuN clearly has strong thoughts on the situation. I have my doubts on whether they're positive or not. Ragnarok has had enough of it. I think that translates pretty well. The Widow Mines. And there's only 39 drones. This is 2-base Zerg against 2-base Terran, but it's Marines and mines. Gonna eat the Widow Mine hit, take it out with the mutas. Swinging in. And the Marines being cut off. But with the Zerglings to cover, the mutas just keep swinging back around. The Zerglings easily gunned down. +1 flyer attack is on the way. So, oh, the mutas! He noticed the Widow Mine just in time. The targeting line. But he noticed in time. That would have been devastating, because the mutas heal at normal Zerg speed, which is glacial. Technically, it exists. Practically, I don't know, what is it, like 1 every 2 or 3 seconds? So, after several minutes, the mutas will be back to full fighting strength, and there's no way to speed it up. There could be Widow Mines. Honestly, down there would be a pretty good spot. He's still got the mines hidden behind the reactor. They won't be hit unless he has detection, unfortunately for Ragnarok. The muta's still chipping away. The Marines are picked up, which may have been an accident. Unclear. Like, he can see the indentation. Oh my. And upgrading Ensnare for the Queens. The Flying Queens. Ensnare, which reduces move and attack speed. I believe it disables abilities. So just like way better than any StarCraft 2 spell, but well, 3 queens in production, and with Ensnare, if he's able to prevent the Marines from escaping and just continually kite with the mutas, that might be exactly what he needs to deal with it. He's not going up to Hive, but instead going to use the queens in order to buy some time. The Zerglings are split. The mutas knock down one of the medevacs. The Marines in position to defend, and the queens will pop out. And oh, Brenda, what is it, Susan? What is it? Oh, you looking mighty fly today. You want to look down on some Terrans? Imagine having legs. I literally can't. Ah. It's good to laugh, isn't it? Oh, it's good. It's good. So, I don't like your face. We have the same face. Now, don't be rude. I didn't. Sorry. Hive Mind took the queens. Ensnare. Kind of whiffs it a bit. Does have a bit of a projectile time, it seems. One of the more rare builds. Throws out another one. And slowing it down, but are the Marines enough? Where is the actual damage coming? Like, the medevacs are healing. The queens may have another Ensnare, but I don't think it does any damage. It just... Oh, he completely whiffed it. Are you blind? What, Lucille? Yes! I did... This is... ByuN scanning to the south, wondering if he's misjudged the economic situation. But no. It's just... He has 28 Mutalisks and almost nothing else. The queens are slowly building up energy. They have no quick way to do it. There's another base up to the north side, another one in the top left corner. So Ragnarok finally embracing that sort of more decentralized style of Zerg. The Zerglings helping out a lot in covering for the mutas. And a couple more will go down, but ooh, it's 3 or 4 there. ByuN expanding to the gold. And he's been on 2 base this whole time. So he doesn't have a booming economy. But he does, yet again, have a huge army supply. As has been the story of the series the entire time. Ragnarok trying to run him around in circles, and ByuN just building up a huge Terran army. And we'll see. Mixed success so far. Some Scourge on the way. The only 2 of them, which makes me think it might be a misclick. Knocking down medevacs more quickly would be certainly helpful. Mutas with +1 flyer. ByuN finally working on the 2/2 infantry weapons and armor upgrades. The Zerglings coming in, clearly going to try to draw out the Widow Mines and cover for the Mutas. The Overlords have speed, but they're still not nearly fast enough. He needs them here. It's just mass Marine versus mass Muta. 30 Mutas and counting. He's finally getting a hive. A single drop headed north. The Overlords do not have a good day. Easily taken down, but there's no wall! The Zerglings just get in! And, oh no, it's a disaster for ByuN, I think. But, wait a second, there's damage. The Thor doing a massive volley of damage. And again, the Marines, a single drop, 14 drones dead. This Zergling run by is cleaned up, and the base is cleaned out. ByuN has defended and attacked successfully and simultaneously. And it seems like it's gonna cost Ragnarok potentially the game. It's 114 to 66 army supply, and that entire army is Mutas. It's 30 Mutas and 2 Queens. Don't forget about us! You don't need to be so needy, Brenda. Shut up, Susan! Also, do you like my face? I don't know. Sorry. Well, 5 Sunkens, but he's just tearing right through him. The Queen? No! GG! As ByuN stimming his way forward, and he will claim victory yet again. The Marines and the medevacs. Ragnarok unable to find any tech that reliably deals with them. We haven't seen, now, notably, not a single lurker, from my understanding of the Brood War. And I honestly don't know. Now, since both of these players are Korean, I assume they have a genetic memory of the Brood War, despite both being older than its release. But don't worry about it. But, what is Passage? Question mark? We're on Karis Passage, which has a very tight passage. That's like 2 Zerglings wide down the center. And I believe ByuN is debating the cartography right now. Ragnarok with the StarCraft 1 Zerg yet again. Which, maybe Mute is a little better here, but from my understanding of the Brood War Zerg versus Terran, it's Mutas, and then ideally a transition into Lurkers, maybe Defilers. As both players are enjoying their debate about the peculiarities of the map. So, Ragnarok getting locked in. It's... The parallels are... I guess uncanny is the wrong term, but... Getting locked into Mutas and eventually getting whittled down. Because mass Mutas... That's a lot of flying eggs in a very risky basket. You can picture that one if you like. What is going on here? Or like, it's like a mining platform or something. Going over... I love it. The detail. The minerals are certainly standing out. I do love... Honestly, I love the way they pop. The SC Evo minerals. I wish we could just have that. It's like a mineral skin. They got veneers. Wow, a whole debate. And ByuN still questioning things. Now, what will ByuN do? Is it going to be... Yep, 2 barracks. If it ain't broke, you don't need to repair it. 2 racks. And, likely going to be a quick factory with the medevacs yet again. Those gas is a little later, yeah. Lair for Ragnarok. Neither player willing to risk the passage. At least not yet. I think we need lurkers. Hydras and lurkers, some of the most iconic units in the Brood War. To my, again, I keep saying it, but it's true because I don't feel nearly the confidence to speak with authority on Brood War. And not that the people who enjoy and watch Brood War on a regular basis for the last 20 years are known for being elitist. All right, that's not true. They are confirmed to be. But. Just because you enjoy less pixels doesn't make you better, Grandpa. Just means your eyes are bad. Maybe, okay, fine. Spire? A muta risk yet again. Very quick Spire. He has 28 drones, getting a 3rd gas. It's going to be the double medevac against the mutas. Yet again. And we'll see. Now, yeah, I don't think the mutas are doing poorly. I think the follow-up is where it's fallen apart. As more mutas is rarely the most efficient answer in many scenarios. Especially if you're not able to do a lot of damage with the first set. It's unlikely that more will solve that problem. Since the defense against 10 mutas is similar to the defense against 25. That's when you got to use that map control to probably focus on more direct responses. But again, far be it from me to criticize, despite the platform and the demeanor. 5 mutas. And ByuN just loading up his double medevac drop. The build he popularized, he essentially won the world championship off of against Dark in 2016. Come back to us, Dark. Dark eventually got his world championship a little bit later on, 2019. But, yes. Couple Scourge. Adding the Scourge in to potentially knock the medevacs out of the sky. They have tissue paper HP, but if they do land, I believe they one-shot. No, 2-shot medevacs. More than 1-shot? Whoa! Well, 1 medevac dead. The Marines are just dead. Well, this went better. Ragnarok now has 8 mutas against 7 Marines. Turrets are coming up. But if the turret's not going to be done in the main, this could spiral out of control rather quickly. And the mutas, he stims, but that makes him even more vulnerable. I'll take out 1, make that 2. But the Marine count is almost non-existent. So, and no medevacs on the way. ByuN is... It's not good. Getting camped by the mutas. Their combat shield upgrade targeted. Marines popping out and immediately getting eviscerated by the mutas. It's a rough life. Want a garrison in the barracks, but unfortunately, no. Not those kind of barracks. More mutas. A medevac either survived or was rallied across the map, but an overlord wandering in, which is the only thing that's going to die to a turret so far. Is he dead? He's looking pretty dead. If ByuN builds up enough... So the thing here, he doesn't have combat shield on the way. It got canceled. Fire attack level 1 is done. Though he may have overestimated the value against the Marines. Trying to knock the medevac out of the sky. Knocked out the reactor on the starport. Continuing to chew through the Marines. 39 Marines dead. And are we going to finally see someone flip the script? The first victory for StarCraft 1? GG! Ragnarok. Finally, the mutas get the job done. They kill 47 Marines in a 7-minute game. Wow. ByuN just flew right to his death and never recovered. And that brings us to Game 5. Or interestingly, now ByuN is going to pick up the StarCraft 1 SCVs. Like, well, I could do that. StarCraft. So, I feel like it's a little bit of an unfair comparison. Because we're playing on the StarCraft 2 engine, and these players are StarCraft 2 pros, both in the top 12, which I'm giving Ragnarok a little leeway on that, ByuN easily in the top 10. I think the StarCraft 2 races are just always going to look better for them. That's literally what they've spent their lives practicing for over a decade. So even the slight adjustments of StarCraft 1 units, even if the units on paper are better, they're not going to be able to use them quite as perfectly. So I think in these SE Evo matches, I've noticed StarCraft 2 is usually favored, but it's hard to tell how much of that is because it's StarCraft 2 players in the game that they're most good at, and how much is because the StarCraft 1 versions need buffs. Because I'll tell you, you can play this mod right now. It's an extension mod, which means all you have to do is create a map, and then when it says create with mod, SC Evo. You can search SC Evo, and you should be able to find it. You can play it StarCraft 1. I wish we saw more StarCraft 1 versus StarCraft 1 on it. I know they have leaks for that. We talked about pixels, and I know they're very popular, but I actually really enjoy playing with the models and the sounds. In fact, we can go to the ByuN cam for a bit.
SCV good to go, sir.
All the sounds. I would pay so much. Oh my god, he's just gonna go.
Gotta put up with this, too?
He's just gonna go barracks again. Every 5 games in a row.
SCV good to go, sir.
Well, Mom always said ByuN games are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. And if your immediate instinct was that, wait, that didn't make sense, you missed the point. Like and subscribe for more wisdoms. So, ByuN will yet again be doing a big Marine push. And yet again, Ragnarok will be tasked with finding a way to deal with it. And we'll see. I have no insights, no meta commentary, since we're seeing a similar scenario play out, but Ragnarok has chosen some different angles. But with the StarCraft 2 Zerg, he seemed comfortable enough with just a quick Bane nest. And at some point, ByuN, who's played, and this is just StarCraft 2 tournaments, not including 2v2, not including SEVO, just 1v1 tournaments. ByuN played over 300 professional games in April. It was something like 335. Which he made up somewhere in total. I'm just ballparking it because I don't know the exact number. I didn't look that up. There were about 1,500, maybe 1,600 professional games in total, tracked between the top 100 players or so in April. ByuN was in nearly 20% of all the games. Like, of what? Yes. So, what does that mean? It means it's a lot easier to do that when you have one strategy. He's fully capable. I can't remember the last time I saw ByuN play mech. But he's actually moved up to, I think, rank 6 in the world. He's been kind of languishing at rank like 9 or 10 for a while, but in the last month or two, he's back to nearly top 5. As pretty much all Zergs but Cyril have been struggling. Ragnarok over here a little bit better, but, well, we'll see. The Queens. I remember, do you remember when we could fly? Not now, Brenda! And also, I remember that not going very well. Why do you think this is better? Well, we don't have any skill shots we can miss. Because that would require having skill, Brenda. What are you trying to say? I think you know what I'm trying to say. It's a bit of a self-burn, isn't it? Yes. Yes, it is. Yikes. Sorry, I am whacked out for... The Marines are not enough. One Marine suffers the prize. ByuN will build up siege tanks, +1 attack on the way. Roaches. For the first time, we're going to see the Roaches broken out as a choice to help deal with the Marines. Roach speed in production. I'm not sure how they trade. Neither side with the basic upgrades. +1 Carapace is on the way, but still a long way off for Ragnarok. Whereas +1 attack in Marine range are coming up. The Marines outstripping the medics. But the medic's still quick enough to scamper away before roach speed is done. Infestation pit for Ragnarok. Medics patching up the Marines that survived. A surprising amount of medics. Might have overdone it a bit. I'm sure the Marines aren't complaining. The production line with the production blob is all together. Ragnarok supply. He's been supply blocked a significant percentage of this series. Sometimes understandably, sometimes with a bit of a lackadaisical micro on the Overlords. Which is surprising considering Overlords are not the quickest creatures. Even when you get speed, really, as we've seen. An Infester on the way. And once more than a couple are out with their juiced up version of Ensnare. Well, it's going to become exceedingly difficult for ByuN to get any damage done with the direct Marine attacks. But we're not there yet. And the siege tanks are headed across. What? Oh, Roosevelt on the rocks to open it up. A small group of Marines will prevent Ragnarok from expanding to the north, which covers for the attack to the south. And he's completely out of position. This is the much more valuable location. And ByuN's just gonna show up, siege up, slap down, and I think this base is gone before it even really started. Hitting the perfect timing so he couldn't cancel. The scan, a single Infester. Quite a threat. The egg with 500 bajillion armor, so will eventually die. The tankiest unit in the game. Science facility is on the way. He's gonna help Ragnarok out with the rocks. There's a joke there, I'm sure. But it's too hard. The Zerglings looking for a counter in the third, but there is no third. There is an Ultralisk Cavern, though, on the way. As Ragnarok climbing the tech tree like a bamboo shoot here, and ByuN a more leisurely pace. As he's still building the Marines and tanks. If Ultras with Chitinous Plating come out, well, this army just dies. Until then, it's quite a threat. And Ragnarok's still just on 3 bases. He's got 69 drones against 49 SCVs, which is a nice enough economy. And ByuN does not have a third command center. Now, he doesn't know that ByuN is repositioning.
Our forces are under attack.
On 5 games. The tanks have reset. Corrosive Bile will one-shot any of those Marines. I believe the medics as well. Yeah, 60 HP exactly. The Infestor. There's quite a chunk down the center. Corrosive Bile gonna clip a couple. Not as bad as it could have been. The siege tanks are closing in, but the circling counter also not enough. The bunker will repel it for now. And ByuN takes out another base. Irradiate for the science vessel. Vessel coming up. It doesn't have quite the energy for the irradiate, but the Ultra takes quite a while to melt the Ultra with irradiates, but is very possible. The tank's moving forward with such intense single target damage. Tank's taken out, strays a little bit too close to the Ravagers. The Ultras. There's the irradiate. Quarantines one. So I guess best case scenario, he's gonna stim forward. There's no fungals. Takes down the Roach one, which means no more Ravager production either. Let alone roaches. The science vessel just watching over everything. ByuN jamming himself into the corner here. 100 against 130 army supply. Chitinous plating is done in 10 seconds. +2 melee attack, not too long after that. But ByuN's gonna have 2/2 infantry weapons and armor. That's something. But I think he's just waiting for the chitinous plating. And yes, immediately goes. The siege tanks doing what damage they can. There's no more irradiates. The Marines and the no Marauders, but medics being eviscerated. A Freudian slip there. And the Marines are stutter stepping back, but the Ultras are just shrugging it off. A single swipe cleaves dozens of Marines. A counterattack to the north. But are there any siege tanks back at home? No. Any siege tanks chasing back, also struggling. Another irradiate, but, well, it's enough to drive it back. And the fact that, well, the Ultras will clean it up, though the hatchery was taken out. The Ultra with the radiate is a threat to the Marines here as well. Corrosive Bile, but he's still stimming. He wades through the biles, catches a couple. There's enough for one more irradiate. He doesn't use it on the Ravager. He's waiting for the Ultras. I don't know. Oh, contaminate. The tactical goop will delay. Oh, there's an icon for it. We don't even have that in regular SC2. Though, contaminate, one of the more obvious abilities. With a goopy infestation all over, delaying production. Not for very long, but those 20 seconds or so can make a big difference, or so I like to tell them. The vessels are sent out as ByuN building a third command center. Optimistically, I think. As he clearly wanted to get it done with 2 bases and just wasn't able to. Does he have enough for the eraser? The irradiate circle jerk? Or... oh, we'll see. There's no direct anti-air besides corrosive bile. And mass science... is there a Spire? No. Just now beginning as Ragnarok considering how irradiate could be a devastating choice. The Ultras are spotted. Irradiate on the Viper. He can send it in over the Marines, potentially, or the Ultras can just chew through the front lines. There's really just not that much damage to deal with the Ultras themselves. And, yeah. Well, with no siege tanks, no spider mines, and only a single irradiate. GG! Ragnarok ends up rolling through in a decisive fashion. ByuN unwilling or potentially unable to deviate from the plan. And if the plan isn't clear by now, well, like and subscribe and buy new winter coin or something, because oh, ByuN. Still dangerously close, but I'd say incredibly far, as Ragnarok had him figured out by the end. But hopefully at least made your day a little bit better. And if you got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free for now. Thank you to our Mule Tier patrons, Big Jiggy, Devin Dork, Kate, Crazy Mouse, Mario, Suit. Glad you still enjoy. And make sure to check out this video Jimmy picked out just for you. All of you, not just them. But and I hope I made your day a little bit better. Good luck. Have fun. See you next time. Thank you for watching. Stay chill.